Man United are in real trouble. They're 14th in the Premier League, the fans are turning on the players, but this hasn't happened overnight. They've had manager after manager after manager, and none of them have lived up to Sir Alex Ferguson. Until today, because the Red Devils have just hired me as their new manager to not only get Man United back on track, but to finally bring the Red Devils back to their prime. But guys, pulling that off isn't going to be easy because we joined them on the 17th of December. They're 12th in the Europa League and they're 13th in the Premier League. So we've got a lot of work to do. But one thing we don't have to worry about, guys, is an injury crisis. We've only got 3 players currently injured and none of them really fit the new system that Anarim plays. Because yes, we will be using this very same system because in real life, I don't see Anarim going anywhere anytime soon. But that doesn't mean this team doesn't have so much work to do. I mean, you've already seen how poorly they're doing this year. I mean, not even Anthony's been able to sort them out. But we will have 125 million to spend in January to try and at least turn this season around for Man United. But it's not going to be that simple, because I've already said I want to get Man United back playing in their prime. But to do that, there's 3 objectives we need to hit with this Man United team. The first one being we need to get 7 out of the 11 starting 11 players at 90 rated. We also need to win United their first Premier League title since 2013. And finally, we need to win them their first Champions League since 2008. Yeah, it's been that long. And because it's almost been 12 years since Fergie retired, to make this interesting, I'm going to have half of that time. We're going to have 6 seasons to pull this off. So really, we've got to work wonders with this United team within the first 6 months, otherwise we're toast. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort our tactics out. We are keeping the formation as the 3-4-2-1, but we're using a counter-attacking build-up style and we're using a very deep line. And as you can see from the player roles, when they're on the ball, it's going to work like a 5-2-2-1. We've got both of our wingers going to be up and down the pitch acting like fullbacks. We've got 2 centre mids, 2 attacking midfielders, and 1 striker alone up top. I don't know if it'll work, but it's worth a try. And as it stands, ladies and gents, I believe this is not only our strongest starting 11 right now, but going forward 2-3 seasons in the future, this has definitely got the most potential. But with January just around the corner, it's our prime opportunity to get rid of some dead wood. For example, Xerxes, I do not see this guy staying at Man United after January, especially with what happened at the Newcastle United game. Rashford's another one. I'm pretty sure he's leaving in real life in January anyway. And Mason Mount is another one, guys. I mean, let's be honest, what's he actually done for United since joining them? To be fair though, you could say that for all the players on this transfer list, especially Casemiro. He's robbing a living at United right now. But come January, we'll have cleared all these players out, we'll have a lot more money to spend, and then the rebuild officially begins. And within 2 weeks of the new year beginning, guys, I have sold pretty much everybody that I wanted to on that transfer list. Unfortunately, Xerxes had no interest at all from other clubs, and Mason Mount was going to go to Sporting, but he just couldn't come to an agreement with his contract. But we've got 192 million to spend now anyway, so I'm not seeing that as a loss. And granted, that is a lot of money to spend, but we still need to use it properly to make sure that this United team season turns around. And we all started with a signing I believe will definitely happen in January. Victor Gyökeres from Sporting, mid-20s, 86 overall. Stats-wise, he's absolutely phenomenal. Plus, he used to work with Anarim at Sporting. This stars are just aligning for this to happen. And just like that, I made sure it happened, as we've just spent 99.7 mil to sign him on a 5-year contract. And just look at him in that starting 11. No offense to Højlund or Xerxes, but he's so above them at the minute. However, guys, we're not done yet because we still need a stronger, more solid attacking midfielder. I think Eberechi Eze from Palace is perfect. Mid-20s, got some fantastic stats that can still be improved, and he's already got tons of Premier League experience. But believe me, he wasn't cheap. Palace wouldn't accept anything less than 40 million for him. And this does leave us with just over 45 mil, but I think we're going to leave the transfer window there. I mean, in my opinion, guys, we've already signed 2 game changers for United. And with them in the team, it is leveled up and then some. We just need to rely on a couple of players who are already at this club to begin with. For example, our youngsters like Lenny Yoro, Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho. Don't get me wrong, I don't expect them to turn world class after only half a year, but I defo want them to show signs of stepping up. We need Bruno to keep doing what he's doing too. He's the club captain and he's the top goal contributor so far. We need at least 30 of them by the end of this season from him. And the good news is all these players I just mentioned will have their chance to step up because we are somehow through to the next round in the Europa. But we've got a tall ask in the Premier League, guys. We're currently 14th. That means we've actually dropped a place since the last time we saw the table. Now, I'm not delusional. I know a top 6 finish is very unlikely at this point. I just want to get into the top 10. If that's the case, I will consider this season a massive dub. However, if that's not the case, next year I'll have to be a little more brutal in that transfer window, because that'll just prove to me that some players haven't taken that opportunity to step up. So we simulated to the end of the season, and guys, just take a look at these stats. Gyökeres, 31 goal contributions in 39 games, 31 and 53 for Eze, 18 and 22 and 63 for Bruno. It looks like some players stepped up. And since we took over, look at how much this team's improved, man. I'm telling you, we've definitely had a strong finish to our first year in charge of the Red Devils. And would you look at this, we've managed the 7th place finish in the Prem. That isn't bad considering where we were when we first took charge. We also made the FA Cup semis and the Carabao Cup quarters. God, if this is what we can do in 6 months, imagine what we can do in another 5 years. But it just gets even better. We made the playoffs in the Europa League and we smashed IF Augsburg 7-2. We also smashed Frankfurt and we beat Rangers and we smashed Galatasaray and we beat Roma. We've actually won the Europa League. United board of directors, you know where to find me, lads. But I feel like a lot of our successes come from these pairs. Since we brought them in, United have just been on the up. But despite all this, we are still nowhere near hitting all 3 of these objectives. So from next season onwards, we need to start putting focus onto this. So that means maybe next year we be a little more brutal in that transfer window. I am, however, making one player next year immune to being replaced in that transfer window, and that is Amad. He's 22, he's 78 rated. I really do feel like we owe it to him to give him a chance. As for the rest of this team though, guys, as far as I'm concerned, they're fair game to getting replaced. Because if we want to be like Inter Milan next year by winning the Champions League, we've got to make some big changes. Just like the one I have just made as we enter Season 2, because I believe the player that we've just signed is going to be an absolute game changer. As we've only had to spend 36 million to sign Serge Milinkovic-Savic. He's a monster at 6'4", 85 overall. Granted, he's on the wrong side of 30, but with the short-term quality he can bring to us, it'll defo benefit us long-term. But here lies the issue, guys. We've only got 59 million to spend. And that is after selling both Xerxes and Mount earlier this season before I signed Milinkovic-Savic. And I was hoping to loan out Lenny Yoro for a couple of years and in his absence bring in a far experienced, far better centre-back for the UCL. And I was hoping that player could be Marquinhos from PSG. I mean, look at his stats, man. Even though he's 31, he's fantastic. But he's worth between 50 and 64 million, guys, and alongside contract renewals, I don't think we can afford him. But there's a slight chance we can afford him this way by throwing Luke Shaw into this deal alongside 34 million. I don't personally see Luke Shaw staying too long at it. Oh no, they want to. Yeah, you're not having Milinkovic-Savic. You can have a Garte instead with 37 million, but there's no chance you're having a player we've only just signed. And thankfully, they go for it. We do still have Luke Shaw at the team, but thankfully, we've got our man. And there he is in the United colours. I know he's 31 years old, but what he can bring us in 2 years is going to be insane. I mean, just look at that team now, guys. If you're telling me you would not be afraid of coming up against this, you're just lying to yourselves. Especially now that they've got a competent manager in charge of the squad, as we are in the UCL this time with United. And you better believe I'm expecting a good result from this. As to be fair, we're off to a great start in the Premier League too. And that just backs up my high expectations, guys, because I'm fully expecting us to win at least 1 or 2 trophies this season. So we simulated to the end of Season 2, and once again, these stats are insane. Bruno, Gyökeres, Eze, Garnacho. They're legit carrying this team. Wait, what's Sancho doing at the team? Oh, he's off loan from Chelsea now, isn't he? He's back at United. Yeah, we're going to have to sell him in Season 3. But coming back to business for a second, guys, I can't see a damn thing up with this team. Amad's improved, Kobbie Mainoo's improved, the youngsters are really stepping up. And on top of that, Gyökeres and Fernandes are both 90 overall plus now, so all we need is 5 more of those and we've got one objective complete. However, it looks like we're going to have to wait a bit longer to complete the Premier League title objective because we've lost it this time to freaking Arsenal. And it doesn't get better in the FA Cup because Charlton Athletic of all teams knock us out. And Arsenal beat us to win the Carabao Cup. But we have won the Super Cup, so at the very least we have won something. But we aren't winning the Champions League this time, guys. Real Madrid knock us us out on penalties in the round of 16. Honestly, what a dud season. I can't be too harsh in the UCL because it was Real Madrid, of course, but every other competition, there's no excuse. We should definitely be putting up a better fight, especially against Charlton. Maybe it is time to get brutal again in that transfer window. I mean, Ahmad only got 8 goals and 5 assists in 56 games. That's not good enough, is it? Maybe we should consider a stronger keeper as well. And unlike this season, next year we won't have financial difficulty because Sancho's going to be sold next season. He's worth 85 mil. Him alone's going to sort our transfer window out. And hopefully with that money, we're going to be able to turn this Manchester United team into the world's best club again. But before we go any further, if you're enjoying this United video so far, drop it a big old thumbs up, get it to 1.5 thousand likes, and smash that subscribe button if you're new. So here we go, guys. Season number 3 with United. And as you can see, I've been a bit busy. I've converted Dalot to become a right midfielder. Let's see what happens. He actually goes up in rating. That's brilliant. And I've done the same for Mazraoui on the left side of the pitch. Is he going to go up? Oh my god, he jumps up by 2. That's actually really good. And in case you're wondering why I've just done that, it's because we've successfully sold Sancho, which means we need a bit more depth in that position. And speaking of Sancho, he went to West Ham for just under 130 million, which gives us over 310 million to spend. And with that kind of money, I'm definitely expecting the Premier League and UCL. And I already told you guys I want a stronger keeper than Onana, and I want Mike Maignan to be that keeper. He's 31, 89 rated, and to be fair, his stats are absolutely insane. He's even pretty quick for a keeper too, which is why I had no problem spending 64.1 mil to sign him on a 4-year deal. But we're not done yet, because remember, I want to replace Amad Diallo too, and I can't think of anybody better than Jeremy Frimpong. 25, 86 overall. Amazing stats as well, and because he's a former fullback, he can be up and down and do just as good a job defending as he can attacking. And £80 million later, he's officially a Man United player. Now, this does leave us a lot of money to spend, but we don't really need to use it. I mean, we probably won't need to replace Marquinhos till next year. Milinkovic-Savic is probably the same. And whilst Kobbie Mainoo right now is one of the weakest links in the team, long term, he'll be one of our strongest. So this is how the team looks going into our 3rd year in charge. And just like last year, I've got big expectations, as we're once again in the Champions League, and this time I want to at least get to the semis. And so far, we're doing okay in the Premier League, but this time I want to win it. And with the 2 signings we've made this year, I'm pretty confident we might just pull that off. But guys, if anything, signing them has made things worse. We are 4th in the Prem this time. That's actually crazy. We make the team better than it's been in a long time, yet we actually finish in a lower position. And it's the same in the FA Cup. This time, bloody Preston knocked us out. And Liverpool knocked us out in the Carabao Cup. Honestly, this isn't looking good. And it just goes from bad to worse, guys. PSV knock us out to the round of 16 this time. Real Madrid, I could understand, but PSV is unacceptable. I mean, come on, this team should not be losing to PSV, man. What more do we have to do to get further in the UCL? I mean, stats-wise, it's the big 3 once again. Bruno with 29 and 16, Eze with 25 and 7, and Gyökeres with 28 goal contributions. The thing is, though, guys, what we've got to bear in mind going into next year, it wasn't just one competition we flopped in, it was literally every single one. So we've got to take action with this team, guys. We can't afford any weaknesses going into season 4, because right now we've got 3 years left to hit all 3 of these objectives, and we're nowhere near hitting any of them right now. And that's why as we enter season 4, I'm not messing around anymore. Milinkovic-Savic has been sold, and so is Marquinhos, which gives us 365 million to bring Manchester United back to their prime. And I think a great start in making that happen is by signing Eduardo Camavinga from PSG to replace Milinkovic-Savic. As you can see from his stats, he fixed that box-to-box role perfectly, and because he's 90 rated, that takes us 1 player closer to hitting one of those objectives. But he really wasn't cheap. In fact, he's our most expensive signing yet, as we've just spent 165.4 mil to sign him. But we still have more than enough money for a replacement centre-back, which is why I'm going for the bottle jobs. Mickey van der Ven, absolutely rapid, fantastic defending and physicality. As you can see, he's the perfect centre-back. But just like Camavinga, he wasn't cheap either. We had to spend a further 120 mil to sign him too. And this incredibly leaves us with 59 million to spend. But again, we don't need to use it. I mean, the starting 11's fantastic, and actually taking a close look at it, we've almost got 790 rated players in the team, which means we may potentially at the end of this season tick one of these objectives off the list. But hopefully we can tick more than one off it, guys, because I'm hoping that this is the year we finally win the UCL. And we're off to a fantastic start in the Prem too, so I wouldn't mind winning this as well. And to be fair, with how good this team's become over the last 4 years, I really wouldn't put it past us to do all 4-3 in one season. So we simulated to the end of season 4, and I can't believe this at this point, guys. We're second in the league, and we lost out to Arsenal by 4 points. Honestly, what do we have to do to win the Prem? Even Leeds beat us to win the FA Cup. This is taking the mick at the minute. But we've finally beaten Arsenal, guys. We've won the Carabao. But as happy as I am about that, that's not one of the objectives. The Champions League is, and we got freaking knocked out by Real Madrid again. Man United are actually cursed. I mean, when you look at these stats, 5 of our players have got 20 goals individually. Do you know how mad that is? But guys, there is some good news, because when you look at this team, we've now got 7 players who are 90 rated or above, which means after 4 long seasons, we can finally tick one of these objectives off the list. However, the Premier League and Champions League still needs to be won, and we've only got 2 seasons to do that now. In looking at the team, guys, I'll be real, I'm running out of ideas. I'm not sure where to go from here. I mean, granted, our depth could be improved, but I don't think that's the reason why we're not winning the Premier League or UCL. All I know is if we want to be like Real Madrid next year by winning the Champions League, we've got to do something, and we've got to do something fast. So guys, we've just arrived into our 5th year in charge of United, and I'm still stuck on what to do, because there's nobody in the starting 11 I can realistically replace, and it makes sense. So I'm going to focus on our depth, guys, and for the most part, this is stacked as well. We could, however, do with a backup cam, a backup centre midfielder, but apart from that, we are honestly already set. And for the centre mid role, I am stealing Southampton's Matheus Fernandes, only 23, already 84 rated, and judging by his stats, he can definitely play that box-to-box midfielder role. And joining him is Enzo Milo from the Bottle Jobs, mid-20s, 84 rated, got good pace, shooting, passing, dribbling, everything you need in attacking midfielder. And there we go, guys, both of them have just signed for us on a 5-year deal for the combined total of 90 million. And looking at the bench now, guys, there really is nothing more we can do. We are set for season number 5. And hopefully it's 5th time a charm, because we are once again in the Champions League, and I swear we better at least make the final this time. As for the Premier League, I'm definitely expecting to win that too. But in terms of the team, I don't see how it could get any better than this, really. We've got world-class talent all around the team. So we simulated to the end of season 5, and we've finally done it. We are the best team in England. We finally won the Premier League. God, that only took half a freaking decade, but that officially means we can tick that off the objective list, which means we only have to win the UCL now. But before we get to the UCL, it's still not good news in the FA Cup. Freaking City knock us out in the semis. And Swansea knock us out of the Carabao. I swear, if we haven't won the UCL this year, I'm going to go nuts. But it is a good start. We are 4th in the league phase. We go straight to the round of 16, where we this time smash PSV. We've smashed Inter, but we've lost to Dortmund. Are you joking? Oh my God. What do we have to do? I'm serious, how does this team with only one player who's not 90 rated in it not win the Champions League? I mean, look at how many goals and assists we got this year as well, man. This is absolutely disgusting. I mean, granted, it isn't all bad news. Bolstering the strength of our bench was the answer to winning the Premier League, but we still don't have the answer on how to win the Champions League. But at least I know one thing that we do need to do going into Season 6, and that is replacing Bruno Fernandes. As you can see, his stats are going down very quickly, and it's best to just replace him now rather than later. However, guys, apart from Bruno, as far as I'm concerned with the starting 11 and the bench, I'm really stuck for ideas. But whatever we decide to do next year, we've got to make sure it helps us win the Champions League, because otherwise, if we don't, we fail this challenge. So this is it, guys, our 6th and final year with United, and I'm going to level with you lot. I've been through the starting 11. I've been through our squad depth on the bench. I have been through the entire squad up, and frankly, there's nothing that we can really do to this team. I mean, obviously the starting team is fantastic, and we've got the quality to replace them on the bench in every single position. So realistically, there's only one thing we can do, and that is replace Bruno Fernandes like I said I was going to last year. And trust me, I know exactly who to replace him with. And trust me, I went all out to sign him, as I spent a whopping 210 million on Jamal Musiala. He's 26, 93 rated. There's literally nobody else better to replace Bruno Fernandes. I'm just hoping that with the addition of Musiala to this team, it is enough to finally win the UCL. So we sim to the end of our final season, and we top the league phase with flying colours. This is a cracking start. We went on to smash Atletico, battered Leipzig, and we beat beaten City. We are finally in the UCL final. This team has finally got to the UCL final. Garnacho is injured, but we've got depth that can sort that out. And as you can see from the stats, we've smashed Gyökeres, Jamal Musiala, Eze, Bruno, even at 35 has killed it. But that won't mean anything unless we can finally win the Champions League. So the question is, have we done enough? We freaking done it! Man United beat PSG 2-1. We have made them the best team in the world. Gyökeres with the brace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's taken us 5.5 years, but we finally got Man United back in their prime. We've officially completed all 3 of these objectives: get a world-class team, win the Premier League, and of course win the Champions League. And that means my job with them is done. If you have enjoyed this video, want to see more content like this, drop it a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you're new around here. And if you want to watch another one of my videos right now, YouTube recommends you watch this one.